Hello, YouTube! I am Pinstar, and this is Wingspan Learning to Play, Episode 2. So today we are going to go over bonuses and bonus cards, bonus rounds, and also the details of your various birds. This is basically a way to get even more points out of your sanctuary, and ways that you may want to gear your strategy depending on what you are dealt. So we are here at a fresh game. So I'm going to, again, each game starts the same. You get 5 general cards, randomly drawn from the deck of 180 cards, plus 2 bonus cards. And this time, we're going to pay a little bit more attention to our bonus cards. We're going to pay attention to a bunch of different things before deciding what we want to keep. Now then, let's take a look at our cards here. So we've got the song sparrow, the brown-headed cowbird, the California condor, turkey vulture, and the American avocet. I probably butchered that. And now let's take a look at our bonus cards. So your bonus cards are essentially ways of gaining more points if you have a set of birds that meet a certain condition. And these sets of conditions are all over the place, sometimes based on the size of the bird, or what the birds eat, or what type of nest they make, or their name, or their appearance. So let's take a look over here. So we got viticulturist, birds that eat berries. So if we have... If we at the end of the game, if we have 2 to 3 berry-eating birds, we're going to get 3 free bonus points. But if we are able to collect 4 or more berry-eating birds, we get a total of 7 bonus points out of this. And this is a secret objective. The other players don't know that we might be going after berry-eating birds. Now the other one, oologist, birds that have at least 1 egg laid on them. 7 or 8 birds gets us 3, and 9 or more birds gets us 6. So this requires us to not only have a whole butt ton of birds, that's a lot of birds, but all of them need to have at least 1 egg laid on them. So these are, now the way it works is you get dealt 2 bonus cards, you have to ditch one of them, just the same way that you have to pare down your starting resources here. So let's take a look. So birds that eat berries, looking at our starting hand, song sparrow eats berries. It's as long as berries are somewhere in their food. It doesn't have to only be berries. You eat wheat. You don't eat anything. Well, you eat carrion, but you don't have to pay for it. You don't eat anything, and you don't eat berries. This is a weird hand. I have to say, a really, really weird hand. Right then, so viticulturist, not so good. Although one other thing you can do is you can take a peek at what the face-up cards are, because maybe you might want to take an early draw card action and nab something from there, if there's something really good. Savannah sparrow, peregrine falcon looks pretty good, although it eats rats. And then the double-crested cormorant, discard fish. Very good, but not good early game. But again, strategy talk is for another video. And now as far as other things, as long as these birds can hold eggs, like you can hold at least 1 egg, you can hold at least 1 egg, you hold at least 2 eggs, you don't hold any eggs. This is a bird that lays eggs in other nests. And then this bird obviously can hold them. Yeah, you know what? I think because we have access to a bunch of birds that are essentially free, I'm going to go for oologist, because I think we can get a lot of different birds and just spread the eggs out. So I'm going to get rid of viticulturist here. Now, one other thing that you want to consider when going for your birds and what to take is the round bonuses. So see how we have 8 cubes here? This represents 8 turns we get to take in the first round. At the end of the first round, we get most of our cubes back. the face-up birds reset themselves, and you and all the other players score on a randomly determined metric. So the round 1 randomly determined metric here is eggs in the grasslands. So basically what this is saying is if you count up all the eggs that are on any bird anywhere in the grasslands, that's the number of bonus points you get at the end. So if you have 1 egg, you get 1 bonus point for that round. If you got 5 eggs stacked up in here, you'll get 5 bonus points stacked up. So that may encourage us to not only put birds in the grasslands over other biomes, but also start loading them up with eggs. Right then. So I think with that being said, and we still need to decide what we're going to do here. Now, a couple other things to keep in mind, even though none of our things are doing it. So here. Let's look at the round 2 bonus here. Bowl nests and flocking with eggs. So some of these conditions are really general and really easy to score points on. Some of these are really, really specific. And there are only a few birds in the game that can actually meet them. But if you get them, it's a chance to score points when your opponents can't. So what they're referring to, these 2 icons, the bowl nest is the type of nest the bird has. So for example, the song sparrow has a bowl nest, but the song sparrow is not a flocking bird. Remember those this right here. This, anytime you're tucking cards behind a bird, that's a flocking bird. That's what this little symbol means here. So if we had this double-crested cormorant, well, that wouldn't count either, because while it is a flocking bird, it doesn't have a bowl nest. This is a stand nest. There are several different types of nest in the game. There's no inherent bonus or penalty. You don't get extra points if they're in a bowl nest versus a stand nest. But there are oftentimes bonus cards or bonus conditions that really do care what type of nest that bird has. Another thing that you saw in play before was the wingspan, and also kind of the name of the game, of that bird. Sometimes other birds care what the wingspan is when they try to eat them. We tried and failed to eat that mallard in our first episode because the mallard's wingspan was too large. Lastly, and probably most importantly, I was kind of glossing over this, is just the inherent point value of a bird. This right here, if we played this peregrine falcon, boom, 5 bonus points. Just for having the bird in our sanctuary. Doesn't matter how many eggs are on them, although you get an extra point for every egg. But doesn't matter where in the habitat or which of these habitats you got the peregrine falcon, boom, you get 5 victory points. If you got the peregrine falcon loaded up with 2 eggs, boom, he's worth 7 now. Because you get a point for each of the eggs. And then if you, over the course of the game, manage to tuck some cards under him, every tucked card is worth yet another point. So the peregrine falcon is a good chance to start scoring you a lot of points. Whereas, for example, this song sparrow, good mechanics, and can hold a lot of eggs, but he's worth 0 by himself. So sometimes you want to get birds that have good mechanics. Other times you want to get birds that are worth a lot of points. Like these buzzards, 1 point, 1 point. But you're 6 points, but you're also expensive. So those are some of the decisions you can make and what all of these different things work. Also, one other thing to note, you see these slash marks? This means that our song sparrow can eat a worm or a wheat or a berry. Whereas say this peregrine falcon here, the plus symbol means you need a rat and another rat. This falcon needs to eat 2 rats, whereas our song sparrow only needs 1 thing, and it can be any one of these 3. So pretty flexible diet and doesn't eat very much. I mean, look at the little guy. So that's some things to keep in mind. Again, the habitat, if there's only 1 listed up there, that's the only row you can play them in. If there's multiples, you can play them wherever the heck you want. So that, my friend, is how you read the various bird cards and whatnot. Two other things to know. We saw in our first video the effects of the brown on activation thing. So if we were to play this peregrine falcon here, and then we were to take a lay eggs action, then we would do what the card says. When activated, do this. Another type of bird is a when played. If we look at the savanna sparrow, when played, play a second bird in your savanna, pay its normal cost. So this is something that happens immediately. But if we were to take an action on here, this doesn't fire off again. It helps build the engine in the sense that it pushes the action further back into the habitat. But just this bird being here, you don't get to take its action again because it's not in brown. And then lastly, we have the pink action birds. The pink action birds are things that happen when other players do specific things. So if we were to play this brown-headed cowbird, if we were to take a lay eggs action, nothing happens with the cowbird. It just skips right past him. It pushes it back, it pushes it forward a little bit. But if some other player takes the lay eggs action, then this bird drops an egg in a bull nest, if we happen to have one. This is where the icons matter. This is a clutch nest, or a cluster nest, not a bowl nest. This is a stand nest, not a bowl nest. So if we had these three birds out and some other player played that, we couldn't take advantage of its nest. But if we had this little guy out, this song sparrow, say, sitting up here, then somebody else takes the lay eggs actions, boom, free egg. So you can see how you can build little combos and little engines and synergies here, as well as how you can sort of work with your various given cards and your various bonus cards to get yourself better chances in here. Speaking of bonus cards, there are some birds whose ability is when played, draw 2 new bonus cards, keep 1. So if we were to play this, we would get to draw 2 more bonus cards, keep 1 of them, cartographer or breeding manager, 4 eggs laid on them, 1 egg laid on them. So lots of eggs here. Let's go for the eggs here. But now we have 2 bonus cards, and both of these count. So if we meet the conditions for one or the other or both, we can harvest up a lot of points from these things. So one of the ways you can try to win the game is just to be farming up your bonuses and playing birds that may not necessarily work engine-wise, but work really well set-piece-wise to score big bonuses at the end of the game. So that's bonus cards. In my next video, I will be going into starting hand strategy and planning for your first couple of turns. And generally speaking, what types of birds you want to keep, which ones you want to ditch, when you want to keep a lot of bird cards, when you want to keep a lot of food tokens, and only maybe 1 bird card, and other such things. So stick around. That video is coming up tomorrow. If you guys like this episode and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Your feedback's always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar signing out. See ya!